Show on stream. All right. How about now? Is that any better? Are we getting any? Show on stream. All right. How about now? Right. Now we've got some audio. All right. Okay. So why does it want to do that? Now, which audio source are we got? All right. Let's take that away. Right. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know why it's... Oh, I know why. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah. I know why. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Professional setup. Yeah. With this software, I added this one in first, so we... Hang on. I turned myself down in the background there. Right. I've got ShedCam 2. That was the first one I added, so that's the primary thing. So anyway, well, welcome. For those of you just joining in, thanks for being here. A few folks are rolling in a bit later than normal, or a little bit later. Maybe I should have gone for a longer intro. I hope you've all had a good week since we talked to you last. The rain's back again, as mentioned, or well, I mentioned it before, but you probably couldn't hear me. So with the rain, it's played up a bit with work. It hasn't affected me, my work. I'm still doing things. I sort of play a dual role at work, so I'm pretty lucky. Right, now if hopefully I'll show this on screen, it won't be a problem. Okay, for those of you who don't know, this is the steamroller we're working on. It's a product of John Fowler and Company of Leeds in the United Kingdom, built in 1926 and exported out here to Australia. And, oh, excuse me, sorry, worked its life southwest of Toowoomba in a place called Allara up until about 1960, 61. Where it was then placed into a park and sat there for another 50 years. A local resident got it out with all intentions of getting it going, and then he wasn't able to do that, and passed it on to the person I brought it off, who had all good intentions of doing work and getting it going, but there was some parts missing, and I've covered that before. I've got the history of this steamroller, or a brief history of it, a video on the YouTube channel, so you can go back there and watch it if you want to play catch up with that. This is the day we brought it home, and much has changed in the backyard here. Those mango trees are no longer there. There's townhouses there. We've got a bigger shed, all that sort of stuff. So that's the story of the steamroller. Now, Cody says that it's been raining up his way. Cody's up in the Northern Territory. Yeah, well, that's probably pretty good there, Cody. It gets, because we're on the coast here, we do happen to get a lot more rainfall on average than, say, other places do, especially inland, and it can affect our work. Can be a hindrance, it has been a bit of a hindrance lately. So yeah, and old Roger down there, he's in southwest New South Wales, and he hasn't got any rain at all. So that's the weather report from around the state. And our two regulars from Adelaide, they're not in the chat at the moment. They can't give us an update. But anyway, moving right along. So I'll hide that on stream and we'll bring this up. Now, this is the thumbnail I used, or most of it anyway. This is the erecting shop at the Fowler Steam Plough Works. And as you can see, there is a lot going on here in this photo. Right down the bottom of the picture, you can see a steamroller being worked on. Either side of it are traction engines and various other engines. And if you study this picture closely, you can see numbers written on a lot of the parts, and there to identify the right part to go on the right engine. And when we started disassembling our steamroller, we actually did find some of those numbers written on the rear rolls of the roller. They were on the inside. So obviously, you know, most of the workmen and apprentices would know what's going where, but with a lot of similar parts to these engines, it's just the size that varied. It could have got mixed up. But this particular photo was, I believe, was taken around about 1920 or something like that. So that's before our steamroller was being built. However, it probably would have been assembled on this same factory floor. Now, I'm not sure. There is an archway at the back that if you gaze your eyes up to the top of the photo, you can see an archway. So I'm not sure which way these engines entered or exited the works. Would imagine it could have been out through that archway, or it could have been down towards the bottom. There is an overhead crane there. Whether that overhead crane was capable of lifting a completed engine out of the works, it's not entirely sure. But needless to say, it could pick up those wheels and move things and all the heavy equipment around. Right, so let's get on to the main topic tonight. We're going to be doing some work on the lathe on the steering rod, and okay, share. Nope. And I didn't actually, there it is. This one will do, it'll have to do. So the steering rod, or the main, you can see the steering wheel inside the cab here. That's connected to a rod which goes down to the worm wheel and worm gear, which is connected to the chains that steer the front rolls. This rod, this steering arm rod, whatever you want to call it, or steering arm shaft, whatever, has worn over time. So the Boilermaker at work welded up the worn parts for me, and I'm machining them back. Now, since having it in the lathe, getting it to run true is a little bit tricky. It is a bit bent in places, so I'll have to straighten it out. I've managed to get it set up and running in the lathe, which I'll bring up right now. There it is in the lathe. Here I am over here. You can see I've already done some machining. Down towards the bottom of the picture is a thing called a fixed steady that's supporting the shaft that's sticking out the end because it is slightly bent. And I'm going to go over and going to do a bit of welding. I've had the Boilermaker at work didn't quite, you know, get all the bits and pieces, so I've just had to go back with the TIG and weld it up, and we're going to do a bit more now. You'll see that. I'll just make an adjustment to the camera while I take another sip of water. Righto, so we're over here on the lathe now, and I'm just going to crank the welder up. It's cooled down nicely. The TIG welder really gives a nice fine bead of weld, and we'll get set up and do that now. It's quite common that shafts and other bits and pieces get welded up if they've worn over time. The other thing you may notice, I've got new glasses. The old ones were chomped up by the puppy, but it was our fault because I left them on the ground when we went up to have some morning tea. We were doing some work in the yard, and he took a liking to them. So new glasses were in order. The old ones were really getting scratched and knocked around. So yeah, new glasses, and I really like them. Helps me see a lot better, especially on the computer and reading. Now we've got the TIG welder set up. We're doing I think about 90 amps at the most, and that's working out pretty good. We've got our filler rod. You'll see a bit of a bright light. It's not going to affect you guys at all. I got my welding helmet on, my PPE, the welding gloves, well buttoned up. TIG welding gives off a lot of UV rays, higher than say arc welding. When you're doing any sort of welding, you do need to have personal protective equipment on, just to stop the UV rays and various other things that come off it. You can get rather sunburnt. You know, don't ask me how, but anyway, here we go with a bit of TIG welding. Now, hopefully you can still hear me all right. And the mask is not covering the microphone too badly. So we light her up, and we get a bit of a pool going, and we just dab as we go along here, keeping a nice tight arc. Well, that's done nicely. I'll just throw a little bit around here, which I'll just touch up. Once again, I'll just light it up, get a bit of a pool going. That's not looking good. And then we can get this running. The welder kicks in to cool itself down. Sounds like an ambulance going by. We do live near a hospital, so it gets rather busy around here. Well, I'm just taking away the welder, just getting it out of the way. Take my helmet off. You can't see that. Right, I'll just play a quick g'day. Hey, Fridge, g'day, Emma. Yeah, it's all right, Emma, you're late. Fridge, this is the, I'll just go back and explain it. Yeah. Show, there we go. It's just the steering rod connection, or steering rod arm, steering rod, whatever. The bracket, you can just see the support bracket there in the picture. If you look inside where the steering wheel is, just behind the flywheel, that support bracket bolts onto the water pump, probably very similar to what Emma's roller is, and that has worn considerably, and so has the shaft where it's mounted there. That and the other end, right down the bottom here, where it gets carried just before it engages with the worm wheel. So they've got signs of wear. I'm just I've had the boilermaker at work welded those up for me. Done a good job, but I've machined it back before, and a few bits were missed, so I'm just touching them up, and I'm going to get it running and do a bit of lathe work. So we'll get back on. I didn't silence. No, I didn't silence myself. So we'll get back over on the lathe, and we'll get this going, and we'll do a bit of machining. So I'm just doing up the fixed steady. Get that tightened up. It is a little bit bent, and I need to go back and straighten a few things. The other end's a bit bent too. I wasn't aware that it was bent. So we'll go there, turn that on. Right, so we're going to be running at 300 RPM. I'm going to put a bit of oil on here on the fixed steady so it lubricates the support. I'm going to do a bit of intermittent cutting. Hopefully, yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm only just taking a light cut at the moment, just to see how it goes. Right, I'll take a bit more of a deeper cut now. The finish I'm getting is not the best, but I can always run a bit of emery tape on it just to polish that up. I could also put a new bit of a new insert in as well, cutting tool, just to get a better finish. We'll take another cut. And then we'll have a look at, see how we're going. Periodically, I put a dab of oil on there just to make sure we're getting lubricated on the fixed steady. Well, you think by now I'd be nicely set up and have my emery tape and all that ready at hand. Right, so we're getting, finish is pretty good. It's a little bit rough. I need to, I'll just give that a bit of a polish with emery tape, and then we'll get back to a couple other things here. I'll just go grab some over the other side of the shed. Now, I hope all of you have had a good week. It's probably a bit rough. It's probably a bit. I know Emma's, it's interesting what Emma's doing now with the Tuesday night live stream showing her skills with CAD. It's pretty interesting. Righto, so we've got our emery tape, which is probably just an old linishing belt that's broken or something like that, but it'll do the job. Hello, Mr. G. Hope you're well. Thanks for being here. Yeah, right. Okay, no notification on Facebook, on YouTube. That's strange. Interesting. Maybe that's why there's only a handful of people here. I'm sure well, we're live on YouTube, so, well, anyway, it is what it is. Thanks, everyone, for being here. The important people are here. That's all that counts. Right, so we don't need the feed on. It's probably a bit too coarse, that one, so I'll go get the finer stuff. However, that's starting to polish it up nicely. Let's go around here. Something I haven't done for a while, I'll probably open up, see if anyone wants to come up for a chat once I've done this. If not, there it is. That's a bit better, I think. I've got an early, despite this rain, I've got an early start tomorrow. I've got to take the truck I drive, I've got to take it down to get a wheel alignment. But if any of you want to come up and have a chat. Roger, yeah, you're right, mate. I don't know how world famous we are, mate. There's only 5 of you watching here at the moment, so, and that's probably on both platforms. Oh, well, like I said, the important people are here. Righto, let's, I'll just give this a bit of an adjustment. There we go, that might be better. That looks a bit better. I've got some other emery tape. I've probably got a roll of it. Oh, I've got a roll of it sitting in the ute, haven't I? because I'm running it at a fairly slow speed, it may not have the, it's having the desired effect. It's getting better. I'll just see how this goes. Ooh. Nope. Oh, no. Because I've got too much hanging out the other end, that's going to be a real problem. So, righto. Let's not do that. In fact, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's leave sleeping dogs lie. I've still got more work to do on this, as with all things. When you do a ground up restoration, which is what I'm doing, which I didn't think I would be doing, because when you first look at a project, you think, oh yeah, I'll be able to do this, it won't take long, I'll have this done. And then you get into it and you find more things wrong with it than what you first thought. Now, if you're an owner of a steamroller, you might know what I'm talking about. Don't know what that was on about. Anyway. Oh, gee, you got me on the telly. Hang on. All right, well, hold on, because here's... Oh, no. Hang on. There we go. How's that? On the telly, on the big screen. No. Spotlight. We still got audio? Can you still hear me? Or have I stuffed that up again? Thanks, G. Appreciate it. Roger says, yeah, the world famous. Yeah, Roger, great compliment, mate, but I don't know if we're world famous. Looking fresh. Oh, sounds good. Thanks, G. Roger says it can hear me. Great. Because I had a, earlier on, G, I had a bit of a faux pas with this, and I was talking away and no one could hear me, so, but we managed to sort it out. I made things a bit wrong. Yes, okay, hello. The wife's there saying yes, hello. See, Leanne Goff. See, that's your YouTube channel there, darling. Well, famous to me. Well, the shed dogs were down here earlier. They've gone upstairs because it's raining. You know, probably find one of them on the deck laying around or something like that. It's nice and it's perfect weather. It really is. Even though it's wet, it's really nice. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Mrs. Craft Talk. That's it, G. You got it. That's a good name. There you go. There you go. Just to all shed dog. One has gone to bed. Yeah. One's gone to bed. The other one's, you know, being young and silly, wants to stay up late. Let's hide that. Right. Now, what else can I show you guys that I haven't showed you before? Let's share a screen. Share a screen. Ooh. Now, if I haven't showed this before, we will again. This is... Right. Screen. Not going to show me. Righto, there you go. That's, and there it is. It comes up on screen. So that is the original builder's plate. If you are lucky enough to own a piece of history, like quite a few of us do in this chat, Emma, myself, and Dan Shed. you're lucky enough to have something like this to identify the engine. The manufacturers were very proud back in the day of their equipment, and this is one way they displayed. You know, you can see that it was made, who it was made by. John Fowler's, regardless of the type of engine, whether it was you know, a steamroller like mine, or a road locomotive, or even a narrow gauge locomotive, which they did manufacture as well. You know, we're quite proud. This is the more commonly known as the builder's plate. A lot of people like to take these off the locomotives or traction engines, especially when they're placed in parks, and keep them as souvenirs. And you know, it's a bit like card swapping. They would swap the builder's plates of various engines. Now you can see in the details here pretty well. It's I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. I'll zoom in a bit more. You can see that this thing had a fairly rough life when we actually first got it. Well, for a long time I didn't know it existed until a guy down in Melbourne said, here's a photo of it. And it turned out that it wasn't very far away. And the person who had it in his collection for a long time. And when I was over at his place one night, and I asked him, and he said, yeah, he said, oh, I'll show you. And he said, yeah, here, you can take it home. It belongs, you know. G'day, Joanne. Thanks for being here. Joanne's one of our viewers from the other stream on a Saturday night that we do with Funk and Hungry. Joanne's also in the United States, and you're up very early, Joanne, or having a late night. Either way, thanks for being here. So this is a builder's plate. This was attached to the engine on the left-hand side of the boiler, and this is one way of identifying who built the engine and the serial number or the engine number to date it. And what I can work out is that most of it was stamped. It was stamped out in one go, and the number here would have been done on what they call a pantograph machine. Now, if we zoom right in, especially you can see over on the 0 there, hopefully that's going to turn out all right. Yep, that looks good on the other screen. Joanne's up early. It's 5:30 a.m. Very nice. Hope it's not too cold, Joanne. You can see machine tool marks. So this would have been done with some sort of small cutter or cutter of that particular size. And now I don't think I haven't seen any imagery of a pantograph machine. I could probably do a search online to see what one looks like and how these would have been created. But it's just great to see that a lot of the original equipment is now back with the engine, which, you know, we thought that we wouldn't see. The gentleman who got the engine out of the park originally got a replica made, so one that's identical, and I have showed that before. And it's almost as good, but you know, just having the original just really makes absolutely just makes it, you know. We're going to try and do a few little repairs to make it a little bit better, but I'm very hesitant to see, you know, to how far I'm going to go with this. Having a lot of the original cracks and things like that gives it a bit of character, and some of these scratches and that I'll probably never get out of it unless I can get it perfectly flat and, you know, take a slight layer off. But they're only the plates are only about 3 millimeters thick anyway, and it does have a slight curve on it to match the curvature of the boiler. So it's hard to say. I think we'll just polish it some more and leave it at that. We might paint the insides with some paint, maybe black or red, depends. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that's probably one of the last things I'll put on the engine after the boiler lagging goes on. The boiler lagging is like us humans putting clothes on. It helps insulate the boiler and makes it a little bit more efficient. Righto, I'll just stop sharing it there and I'll come back to me. Play catch up and let's just, that's what we'll do. And we'll go share again and I'll show you how much, give you an idea. So that gives you an idea of the necking on the shaft, how much it was worn. That's where the support bracket goes off the water pump. It doesn't look like much there, but it's certainly a tremendous amount. So we'll have to take that bit out of the lathe and turn it around. I'll run a straight edge over it. I've got a nice long rule here that I can use and find out where it's bent and try and straighten her up a bit, get a bit more life out of it, get it running a bit truer than what it is. So that's to go with the ongoing work we've got here. There's a number of different bits we're working on at the same time sometimes. And I'll just play a bit of catch up here. Right, a bit of a chat going on within the chat. That's good, don't mind that at all. Our chat people are quite chatty. Now we've got some people watching over on Facebook. I think Mum and Dad are watching as well, and maybe a few other people. Hello to everyone who's watching and the lurkers. If you're just there, just wanting to see what's going on, you're quite happy to be here. And Mrs. Shed Talk. Okay, I'm going to, righto. Right, the puppies. I'll show the puppies. I'm just, so I don't know where we're going to sleep tonight. I'll bring the puppies up on screen. Yeah, I haven't seen a message from Mum and Dad, Joanne, so I don't know whether they're watching or not. They might have forgotten. They might have fallen asleep in front of the TV again, as happens. Oh, excuse me. Cody, oh man, yeah, it's all right, mate. I don't mind. On your own live stream, mate, you do well. You do really well. You make a good presenter. Yeah, well, at least we're all doing well. Right, let's get these photos of the puppies. Righto. So this is turned into the puppy stream, not the steamroller stream. There you go. Hang on. Should share that. There you go. Shed Dog 1 on the bed, flat out like a lizard. So I don't know. I don't know where we're going to sleep tonight. And Shed Dog 2 just like going, okay, what are you doing? What are you taking a photo of me for? What are you looking at? Puppy Talk, that's the one. Yeah, I shouldn't rename, start a new stream, Puppy Talk. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks. So tomorrow, the shed dogs are going for a drive, but the one on screen here, Shed Dog 2, starts his training as an assistance dog. So it's going to be a bit of a learning curve tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. First lesson, first time for everything. Righto. What else is happening on the roller front? Well, Emma's been working away. She's had a bit of a break on hers, but getting back into it. We're still working away on this one with bits and pieces happening. The club I belong to, there's a fair bit happening down there. There's a group of guys that go on a Wednesday and a Friday as well, and they tinker around down there, and they actually do achieve some work. Friday nights, we often go down there and work on the steamrollers and that, and the steam traction engines. I should find a photo, give you an overall view of what we do on the shed. And if I can just find one quickly. There's so many to choose from, but I'll just show one. Now, you guys have seen this sort of before. Now, I'm really professional at this, trust me. Righto. So what you're seeing here is just a view of in our shed at our club at Old Petrie Town. The roller in front is privately owned, and they're replacing the boiler tubes on that particular one. The one behind it is Marion, and that's actually me standing there looking at it, doing some work on it. And then further back there's a traction engine, which I've featured before on various live streams and some of the videos I've uploaded. That's the mobile steam. That's the stuff that usually goes. To the left of me is stationary engines, old stationary engines that still go. And behind us here, if we go further back, there's a big mill engine and a boiler that we operate once a month to show people how things used to be powered or made. So we've got a large variety of equipment in the shed here, as well as some old tractors and things like that. So a lot of the stuff you may have seen growing up, if you lived on a farm or a semi-rural area, that, you may have seen some of this old equipment, and every so often we get it going. So that's just a short overview of Old Petrie Town, or the steam shed at Old Petrie Town. Yeah, Joanne. Shed Dog 1 is now retired. She used to be an assistance dog for my wife. She's now retired, so the other Shed Dog 2 is going to take over that position. So we have to go through some training, of course, and get him up to date. So I'm going to give a quick overview here. The other day on, it's not showing anyone in general, but this is, there's a Facebook group that my wife has, I told you this is turning into the puppy stream. There's a Facebook group that my wife and I had just joined recently, and this is down at the beach at Sandgate, just north of Brisbane. It's a golden retriever meetup, and you can see, if you can count there, it's 5, easily 20 dogs. I think with all the others that were there, maybe there was about 30 dogs all up at one stage. And they were all running around in the water here. It's low tide, of course. Perfect conditions for us humans and the dogs to run around. Shed dog 1 is in the middle of the picture there. You can see just to the left of the white one that's sitting down in the water. And out of all of them, there was only one very minor, discrepancy between the dogs, but the rest of them got on just like a house on fire. And you can see the retrievers. There was black ones, white ones. I didn't see any brown ones or chocolate ones. Yeah, Joanne, it certainly made for an interesting morning. It went for about an hour. Yeah, it was just something really different. And of course, there's plenty of room to spread out. We probably spent more time chasing the dogs than anything else. It was a bit of fun, and met some new people and all that sort of stuff, and met a lot of new dogs too. You get dogs running up to you and saying hello, and it's like, they look at you, oh, you're my owner, and then they'd run off somewhere else, and you get dogs following other dogs and running around. It was, it's certainly a crazy morning, that's for sure. So we'll stop sharing that. We'll come back to me. But anyway, well, geez, I've been going on for about 50 minutes now. I didn't think I'd get this far, but hey, cheers. And I've just been drinking water. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. I showed you what I've been up to. Like I said, I got an early start, so I'm going to wrap it up here tomorrow morning. I'll wrap it up here now because I got an early start tomorrow morning at work. Hopefully an early finish too. That'd be nice. So thanks everyone for being here. I really appreciate the support you guys give me. It's always great. And let's catch up with you later on. Don't stress too hard. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now. Whistle.